Hello everybody, I'm Chaos Within and welcome back to a new video. Like usual, you grab a snack and lean back because today I'll be showing you everything you need to set up your alts to level from 1 to 60 just like I do in my runs. I'll be giving you a list of all my favorite items as well as toys, add-ons and macros. I'll try to keep it concise and not go into too much detail, but I'll talk a bit about some of the things on the list as I mention them. You might already know some of the things that I'll go over, but I hope you learned something. Before we get into it, if you like my videos, feel free to like and subscribe and you're gonna make me a very happy speedrunner. And make sure to keep an eye out for my live streams here on YouTube if you wanna see my adventures live. And with that said, let's get into the video. So first I wanna talk about the items, and I'll split them up into two sections. First, the things that I deem the most crucial, which are mostly pretty cheap, and then after that I'll talk about some of the more situational items that can help you if you have a bunch of extra gold laying around and really want to optimize your character for success. Keep in mind that the items are not listed in any particular order of importance, I'm just going through them one by one. So first on the list, Gunshoes. You can use these all the way from level 1, increasing your movement speed by 200% for 25 seconds with a 3-minute cooldown. And a little tip, if you're running by a quest giver, you can toggle RP walk temporarily to more easily turn in or accept a quest so you don't have to cancel them early. Second on the list, Draught of 10 Lands. It's a 1-hour buff that gives you 10% more experience and it does not go away if you die. You can't use it above level 49, but if you pop one right before you ding 50, you still get to keep the buff until it runs out. Third one up, Goblin glider kits. You probably know about these, so nothing else to say. Then we have mount equipments. The most useful one is light step Hoofplates, which increases your mount speed by 20%. But if you play a class like Paladin or Death Knight who has a mount speed passive, you would be better off with inflatable mount shoes for water walking or comfortable riders Barding to not get dazed, since the mount speed effects does not stack. Next up is bags, and there is really nothing to say here. It's probably the one thing that everybody always buys, but I thought I'd add it anyway so you don't forget. Because I've done that, and when that happens I just insta-log out and start over if I'm going for a record. Then we have Swiftness Potions. These are usually really cheap, and it's a simple 50% movement speed boost that you can use from level 3. Even though you spend a lot of time mounted, they can be nice to just have when you're moving a short distance between mobs and in caves. Next up, enchanted heirlooms. Some of the enchants that you can use are pretty expensive and makes a very minimal difference, so I'm just gonna mention the most crucial ones. Elemental Force for weapons. If it procs, it's almost always gonna one-shot mobs all the way up to like level 15. And on neck, I like to use Mark of the Hidden Satyr, which is also a damage proc. There's a lot of guides online where you can find out what enchants are best for each class if you really want to optimize, but if I would go through all of that, it would probably take over 20 minutes, so I'll just leave it at that. And next, we have drums. Classes that have heroism and time warp etc. don't really need this once you learn those spells, but for the other classes, I like to buy drums of the Maelstrom, which works up to level 50, and then drums of deathly Ferocity when you get into the Shadowlands. This can really speed up some elite quests and might even be crucial for some weaker classes. Another thing I really value when leveling is a level 25 pet, because I always do a bunch of pet battle quests. Any level 25 pet is gonna be good enough, but I use a Tranquil mechanical Yeti because he one-shots every pet in every pet battle quest that I normally do. And last but not least, if you're playing a class or race that has no way of teleporting to Stormwind or Orgrimmar, ideally you want some item to teleport you there. The most easily acquired ones are Potion of Deepholm, which requires level 31 and puts you very close to a capital city portal. You can also use Wrap of Unity and similar cloaks from the guild vendor. However, the cloaks require Honored Reputation to buy, and you're gonna be around level 30 by the time you reach that if you get a guild invite right away as you create your character. The good thing is that it's not very important until you get up to those levels, so not having one on the lower levels doesn't really cost you that much time. So now that we're done with those, I'll mention a few more situational items which are not by any means a requirement for leveling but can speed it up significantly. And number one on that list is Radinax's Control Gem. This is a Legion item which you can buy on the auction house or farm in Argus. The level requirement has been changed multiple times, but at the time of posting this video, you can use it all the way from level 1. It takes a while to farm a bunch of these though, and if you're on a big server like me, you can probably find a few every day on the auction house. They can be pretty expensive though. They're also unique, so I have a guild on my alt where I stash them in the guild bank. So next on this list is just a bunch of stuff. DPS consumables, like flasks, pots, buff food, etc. There are millions of different consumables for all different levels, and they can quickly fill up your inventory. In my opinion, they are the most important on 50+ to do the Shadowlands leveling more easily. So when I get to that point, I usually send over a few flasks of spectral power and some potions of spectral agility, intellect or strength to use on big pulls and elite mobs. For lower levels, I usually grab a few elixir of greater agility if I play an agility class, but these low level consumables are not crafted much nowadays, so you might not find this specific one. So I recommend just checking what you can find at the time. Next up, if Darkmoon Fair is in town, you can buy all the quest turn-ins from the auction house and send to your alt. I do this in my speedruns. Then you can turn in the quests at the Darkmoon Fair for a bunch of experience and use the rewards to buy Darkmoon top hats for a 10% experience buff. I'll write down all the items in the description below. And to finish the items off, I wanna mention the Shimmer Scale diving suit. It's an item that gives you a 100% swim speed buff for 15 minutes. It's very situational, but if you're planning to level in areas with underwater quests, I highly recommend sending a few of these. And with the items behind us, I want to mention two toys. First up is the Shadowlands wormhole. If you have any character with engineering, you can get this toy. Then while you're leveling up your alts, you can go and learn Shadowlands engineering level 1 and use it. This is gonna save you a lot of time teleporting between the zones. Second and final toy I want to mention is the scouting maps. It's a bunch of heirloom toys that unlocks all the fly paths in different continents. This is gonna help out a lot on low level, but not as much once you get flying, and in my alliance route the only crucial one is for Eastern Kingdoms. You can buy all of these at the heirloom vendor in Ironforge and Undercity. With that done, let's head over to add-ons. First on the list is Azeroth Autopilot. And I do not use this add-on for the routes, but rather for the functions. The crucial things about it is auto turn-in and auto pick-up quests, and then you have some quality of life stuff like auto vendoring grey items, auto repairing and cancelling cinematics. There are other add-ons for these functions, but I like this one. Second up is Silver Dragon. I use this to track rares on my map, and it gives me a notification if a rare is close to me. There are other add-ons for this sort of thing as well, but this one is my favorite. Third one is Weak Auras or Tell Me When. You can use either, and I have both. The reason I like these so much for leveling is to track buffs like flasks, Draught of 10 Lands and similar things, so I don't forget to refresh them. I also use them to track cooldowns on my Gunshoes and gliders among other things. Next one is Q-Bar. I recently started using this add-on and it's a great quality of life. You get a bar that you can move around and resize with your quest items so you can click on them more easily. It's not really crucial, but since I downloaded it, I probably wouldn't want to play without it in the future. And last up is another add-on that is not crucial, but I love it. It's called Kui Nameplates and it allows you to customize your nameplates. The thing that makes it nice for leveling is that mobs get a quest icon next to their nameplates, so you know exactly which mobs you have to kill without looking on the tooltip or in your quest log. Finally, let's go over my macros. There's only two, but I always use these when I level a new character. First is an all-in-one macro to cancel Gunshoes, Radinax and /leave vehicle, and you can add more stuff to it if you want, to cancel class-specific things for example. I'll write it out in the description so you can copy it. The second one is a macro to click on the extra action button that appears on some quests. You don't really need it, but I like having it on a keybind. It's simply /click extra action button 1 and I'll leave it in the description as well so you can copy it. And I would say that's about it. Right now I can't think of anything else that I want said with this video. Obviously things can change when new patches and expansions come out, but right now this should be about everything you need to know when you're setting up a new alt for leveling. My next big project that I'm working on is getting my leveling guide out there, and this could sort of work as a prologue for that. So if you're still watching, thank you so much for sticking around, and if you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you all either on my stream or in my next video. Have a wonderful day.